Hello and welcome to Mabinda TV. This is home of compassionate conservatism, where we advocate for a fine balance and sweet spot between individual creative genius excellence as afforded by capitalism and society excellence as afforded by equality of opportunity. So in essence, you are calling for capitalism with a human first, that is capitalism with a human first. So now this is a four-part segment that I'll be looking at making America, Africa perspectives, ideas, and then finally heart and soul. So in the making America, how do we reduce the inter-party wars within the Republican Party? That is, how do we reduce the inter-party wars within the Republican Party? So you have, I think, a lot of the Republican candidates. So Donald Trump is ahead by about 40 percentage points. Donald Trump is up by about 40 percentage points. But then, of course, you have the other candidates scrambling to be the alternative to Donald Trump. So you have Governor Ron Desantis of Florida. Then you have Nikki Haley, the former South Carolina governor. And then you have the biotech entrepreneur, billionaire, that is Vivek Ramaswamy. So you have these three. They are struggling to be the alternative to Donald Trump, but they are afraid of attacking Donald Trump right away because they will annoy his supporters. So basically, you have Nikki Haley saying, yes, Donald Trump will beat Joe Biden, but I can beat him even better. I can beat him by about 11 percentage points. So that is about Nikki Haley saying she could beat Donald Trump by even higher percentage points. But why is it that Donald Trump then, why is it that basically then they are afraid of attacking Donald Trump? And I will hope that basically what they need to do, that is what these Republicans need to do, is to maybe say that what they need to do is just to accept that they have to quote Donald Trump supporters without angering them. And I think Donald Trump has the ticket in his lock and key, but I think it is healthy for the Republicans to have these healthy wars within themselves. So you have the Republicans, they are going to fight it so hard to remove Joe Biden because of the disunity within the party. So you have this three-way split within the Republican Party. So you have the you have the Orthodox Trumpists. These ones will take a bullet any day for Donald Trump. Then you have the hybrid Republicans that have accepted the reign of Donald Trump within the Republican Party, but they want him to round off his rough edges. And then, of course, you have the ultra-conservatives. These are the establishment figures that Donald Trump ran under. So I think for now there is a fracture within the Republican Party. Of course, the general rule is that during a primary, a candidate moves to the extreme end and then they return to the center during the general election. But for that did not happen for Donald Trump. That did not happen for Donald Trump. For Donald Trump, it is that basically he has the campaign candidate was the electoral candidate. The campaign candidate was the candidate in the White House. Of course, many expected that Donald Trump would round off his rough edges. I'm not saying that he is a bad guy, but I'm saying many expected that Donald Trump would round off his rough edges, but that did not happen. Donald Trump did not pivot to the center. When he entered White House, he remained true and true to the far right, and I think there has been a rise of the far right ever since Barack Obama was elected president. So there has been a movement towards the far right, and I think for now then I think the far right controls the Republican Party. Of course, never mind that yesterday Republican George Santos was expelled from Congress, and I think for now then the Republican Party has to do a lot of fence building. It has to make over. The party has to make over, and I think you have those three wings. I think Donald Trump says that the Republican Party is no longer the party of Donald Trump says the Republican Party is no longer the party of the Bushes and the Cheney's and the Reagans. So of course they will never forgive him. The so-called rhinos, Republicans in them only, will never forgive Donald Trump. They think he has sold out the party. They think he has turned the party into a Trump personality cult, into his own cult. So I think for now then the Republican Party has to do more to have that unity. And I think going into 2024 election, I think in a lot of polls show that Donald Trump is up by about 4 or 5 points ahead of Joe Biden, especially in the key battleground states. But then again, you have that is Nikki Haley doing even better than the former South Carolina governor, doing even better than Donald Trump in the national polls. Of course, Nikki Haley positioning herself that basically she is the alternative candidate. She is the best one to beat Joe Biden. But of course, then the Trump lovers, I don't think they will switch camps. They don't like the rhetoric for Donald Trump, even though sometimes they don't like how he delivers his message. But I think they like that Donald Trump gets things done, even though they don't like maybe how he delivers his message. And maybe for Donald Trump, then it is about just a rounding off his rough edges. And I think for going forward into the general election, I think Donald Trump could return to the White House very easily, barring any major disaster, because a year is so far is a day is a long time in politics, let alone a year. A day is a very long time in politics. Circumstances could change, so we don't know how the Trump indictments will go. He has 93. He is facing 93 criminal charges. That is Donald Trump. That is Donald Trump is facing 93 criminal charges. So how will he fare? That is, how will Donald Trump fare when he is facing 93 criminal charges? So we don't know whether he will be indicted. We don't know whether he will be convicted. And I think a lot of Republicans could run away from him. And I think that is something that we are going to look out for on whether the indictments, the criminal charges that Donald Trump is facing, are going to hurt his chances of being the Democratic nominee for Donald Trump. He says, I think he has attacked Ron Desantis so many times, and I think you look at Desantis' face, it is one of frustration. He hopes that maybe the Republican Party, when you watch the debate between Ron DeSantis and Governor Newsom of California, for Ron DeSantis, when Governor Newsom said that basically he is down 40 points to Donald Trump in his own state, and I think even when California Governor Newsom in the Fox News debate said that both of them will not be the presidential nominees of their party, you saw a cringe on Ron DeSantis. So I think he wants to attack Donald Trump, but he doesn't know how. That is Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis wants to attack Donald Trump, but he doesn't know how he is going to attack him. So that maybe that's why then you have all this, you have that cringe on Ron DeSantis. Of course, a lot of Republicans credit him. And that is, a lot of Republicans really credit Ron DeSantis that he has governed Florida very, very well. Remember, he removed vaccine and mask mandates in his state. They were not, I think, the other state being Texas. So I think he opened up the state. He didn't have vaccine and mask mandates, although some say that caused thousands of deaths of Floridians. But of course, he disagrees. He says opening up the state saved jobs, saved lives. But of course, for the liberal states such as California, they locked up their states. And I think in that debate then, he came out clearly that vaccine and mask mandates was the way to go. And I think, of course, also the other one is about teaching of the school curriculum, basically teaching of the school curriculum in Florida, where children are being exposed to very explicit content, sometimes sex change, sometimes pornography. And I think for then, of course, for Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, he has banned many textbooks, and of course, then of course, I think also he banned that they changed the way they view slavery. That is the way slavery is taught. I think they say that basically there will be that slaves learned useful lessons, and I think, of course, you heard Tim Scott, the one who the South Carolina senator who really pulled aside Ron DeSantis and told him there was nothing redeeming about slavery. So I think Ron DeSantis has achieved so much, but I think he is really frustrated that voters still trust Donald Trump. So I think maybe if he does not do well in this election cycle, then he could live to fight another day in 2028. But for now, I think he is the most prominent governor in America. I think he's the most famous governor in America. And of course, there was a time he increased police salaries by about, he gave them $1,000 bonuses to the police officers. And I think this motivated them a long, long way. So I think for now, the inter-party wars within the Republican Party need to end. They need to know they are fighting to be able to come back to the White House, and I think then I think there has to be unity within the Republican Party so that they can face a common enemy in Democrats. And I think the Republican Party, their individual dynamism, conservativeness, individual dynamism, where the government is the problem, let it get out of the way. I think that's the way that America should be governed. And I think the fortunes of the Republican Party are inextricably linked to the fortunes of the Republican Party, or to the fortunes of America. When the Republican Party does well, America does well. When the Republican Party is in tatters, America is in tatters. And I think that's the way to promote the unity within the Republican Party. That is the way to promote this unity within the Republican Party. So how do we mend the civil war within the Republican Party? That is, how do we mend the civil war within the Republican Party? So this has been Mabinda TV. This is home of compassionate conservatism, where we advocate for a fine balance as it's fought between individual creative genius excellence as afforded by capitalism and society excellence as afforded by equality of opportunity. So in essence, we are calling for capitalism with a human face. That is, capitalism with a human face.